Today we are going to make an LED blink. So we're going to run on our Raspberry Pi here. We're going to run a program, Blink program. It's the program that you saw in lecture 2.1, that Blink program. Slightly modified. I'll talk about the modifications after we put this circuit together. But right now, let's just talk about what we have in the circuit we're going to make. We're just going to blink an LED using the GPIO, the general purpose IO, on the Raspberry Pi. So here's my Raspberry Pi, the B+. These are the GPIO pins right along here. Right now, in my Raspberry Pi, I have plugged in the HDMI and I also have the power plugged in. You can see the red light. I've also got my USB for my wireless keyboard and mouse. Also, I've got my Wi-Fi. You don't need that right now, but I have it plugged in. Now, I've got my breadboard for making the circuit. Got an LED and a resistor. I'm using a 1K resistor, but that's not really that important. I mean, it can be plus or minus, but I'm using 1K, 1 kilo ohm. Got a couple of wires. Also, I've got this. Now, this wire, I'm using, you'll notice this wire is 3 wires put together, really. It's a servo cable, but it's got 3 holes in there. So this is female, right? It's got 3 holes on each side. And we need that because the GPIO pins here are male. They're LEDs that are protruding straight out. In order for us to connect to those, we need something with 3 holes, with holes in it. So we need this thing just as an adapter so we can end up connecting to the board. This is different than the Arduino. If you remember the Arduino, these general purpose I/O were all female. They were holes, and you could stick with these leads straight into them. But it's a little different here. So now let me wire together the circuit, and this is pretty easy. This is actually exactly the same as what we did with the Arduino when we blinked its light. So we take the LED, plug its anode and cathode into 2 different rows. Yeah, that should be fine. Then we'll take the resistor, plug that in series. So let's plug this into the same row here. And plug the other lead into another row. Okay, so we got that wired together. Now, let's plug in our cable into our Raspberry Pi. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use pins 6 and 8, really. So let's count off these pins. We're using the board numbering. So they're numbered starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Now, it turns out pin 6 is a ground, and pin 8 is the pin that we're going to use for GPIO. So we need the ground because we need to connect the ground to this circuit. So we're going to take this, plug it into pins, to 3 pins, pins 6, 8, and 10. So pins 6 is black, red is 8, and 1 is 10. White is 10, rather. So we're going to use those. Now, we're going to take the ground, which I have connected to black. We're going to take that, plug this into the black on this end. And we're going to plug that into our circuit onto one end of this resistor. There we go. Oh, I got it in the wrong row. Move it up 1 row. There. Okay, so we got that. Now, we're going to use pin 8, GPIO 8, which is the red. We're going to connect that to the other side of the LED. So we take that, plug the yellow wire into that, and plug that to the other side of the LED, the anode to the LED. Okay, so now it's wired up. So now we're going to run our program. Now, to let you know about the program, the slight modifications. So the program in lecture 2.1, the Blink program, it actually used pin 13. We're using pin 8, so I changed that to pin 8 instead of 13. Also, the sleep time, in the program on lecture 2.1, we used a 1 second sleep time. We're using a 0.5 second sleep time, so it blinks a little faster. Every half second it blinks. So that's it. That should be all wired up and ready to go. Now what we're going to do, one thing you can't see is the keyboard. So I have a keyboard connected to my Raspberry Pi, and I'm going to start running the program. Now the program, I call it blink.py. .py is the typical suffix for Python programs. So I have a program called blink.py, and it's basically what I told you about in lecture 2.1. Now I've typed that in, and to execute it, I would normally type Python 3 blink.py, but remember that since I'm using GPIO, I need to be in root. I need to have root permission, so I'm going to put sudo before that. So I'm typing sudo Python 3 blink.py. I'm just going to hit execute on it, hit enter on there. And it should be blinking. Yes, it is. Indeed, and there it is. And that is how we blink an LED with Raspberry Pi. It's pretty straightforward. Thank you.